Today we are going to be talking about slope. When you hear the word slope, what do you think of? Many people, when they hear the word slope, might think of something like this: a beautiful ski slope. How could this relate to math? How could we define the word slope? Slope is defined as the steepness of a line. So now we're going to actually take a line and see how we could find the slope of this line. Slope is measured by the change in y values over the change in x values, which is also could be called the rise over the run. The rise is counted by taking 2 points and counting how far up you go between those 2 points. For instance, these 2 points, we would go up 4. The run, or change in x, is calculated by how far over you go between 2 points. These 2 points we would also go over 4, so our change in y over our change in x would equal 4 over 4. When we see a fraction like 4 over 4, what's the one thing we have to do to it? We always need to try to simplify a fraction into its simplest form. For instance, this fraction, 4 over 4, could equal 1 over 1, or just 1. Now we're going to try to calculate the slope of a line using information given to us in a table. We have the number of hours and the distance. The number of hours represents our x value, and our distance represents our y value. We are still trying to find the change of x and the change of y so we can find our slope. To do this, we would subtract our first two x values. For instance, in this problem, they subtracted 2 minus 1, which gave us 1. And then we would subtract our two y values. In this problem, we had 8 minus 4, which gave us 4. We put our change in y values over our change in x values. So we had 4 and 1, so we put 4 over 1, which reduces to 4. Now we're going to work a problem on our own. So we would take our second x value and subtract our first. So we would take 4 minus 2, which gives us 2. And then we're going to do the same thing with our y values. We would take our second y value, which is 16, and subtract it from our first, which is 8. So 16 minus 8 gives us what? It gives us 8. So now we take the change in our y values, which is also called delta y, which is the Greek letter that looks like a little triangle here, over the change in x values. So we would take 8 over 2, and we need to reduce that to its simplest form, which is just 4. Now take a few moments and try to work the last problem on your own. Okay, so we would take 10 minus 6, which gives us 4. And then we would take 40 minus 24, which gives us 16. Now we got to take our change in y values, 16, over our change in x values, 4, and reduce that to its simplest form, which gives us 4. For this to be a line, the slope has to be constant, meaning that all of our change in y values over our change in x values have to be the same. For instance, in this problem, our slope is always 4, which proves that this would be a line.